Hey friends, yesterday we practiced taking a look at the ideas that we've had about our characters. We could call these character traits, and then looking to see if they repeat anywhere. And if they do, then we would call that a pattern, and then we would be able to create a theory about that person by giving them some kind of longer description explaining what kind of person they are. Well, today we are going to take that theory and ask ourselves a few more questions it's going to deepen our understanding of our characters. We're going to be asking ourselves mainly why. Now, I don't know if you could tell from this picture, but I definitely could when I saw it. This reminds me of an iceberg, right? And when you've seen photos of an iceberg or you've seen a video of an iceberg, just the very tip top is what shows above the surface of the water. But underneath, there is so much more of the iceberg if you just got under the surface. Well, that's exactly how our characters work, friends. When we're reading them, if we're not paying close attention, if we're not pausing to jot down our noticings, we are only getting to know the surface of our character. There is so much more to know about them if we just ask ourselves why. We can do this by saying the word because, connecting our theory to a reason. So I'm going to show you how I did this with one of our theories about Opal and because of Winn-Dixie. And I'm going to give you some sentence starters that helped me really dig quite a bit deeper with my theory. I didn't want to just see the surface of Opal. I wanted to really know all that I could know about her as I'm reading through because of Winn-Dixie. And here are some ideas about how you can do that. Our goal is to be writing long about our theory, right? If we want to get to know our character, then we're going to have to dig deep and write long. So some questions that I ask myself are, why? Could it be that? Maybe. Also. Now, as you notice, these are not very strict, firm fact sentences like, I know this, I know that, I prove this, I prove that. When we're getting to know a character, we kind of just make some predictions that are based on what we've read so far, but sometimes we have to modify those theories. We have to change those predictions based on the information that we get as we continue reading. So if it feels like you're kind of having to take a guess today, if it feels like you're really trying to stretch your brain, that means you're doing it right. Because oftentimes when we dig below the surface, we're just kind of making some educated guesses based on some clues, but we don't know if we're totally right until we gain more information in the text. So this might feel like you're making a little bit of guessing. It might feel like, I'm not totally sure this is right, and that's okay. As long as it is somehow connected to your text, then you're doing it right. Let me show you what this means. I have my own iceberg that I drew. Now, hopefully you remember that one of our theories that we talked about yesterday is that Opal is a risk taker. And I actually developed that theory because I noticed a pattern in the way that Opal was acting from the very beginning when she took the risk of saying that Winn-Dixie was hers and brought it home. So that has proven true chapter after chapter after chapter. So now that I have my theory, I want to write long about it and ask myself, why might Opal be a risk taker? Let me remind you, we don't always know the answers right away. We have to kind of stretch our brains, think about what we already know, and make our best guess. The good news is, usually as we continue reading, we find out whether our below the surface character predictions are right or not. So why might Opal be a risk taker? Well, she definitely seems to be a persistent person who likes to solve problems. So in order to solve your problems, sometimes you do have to take risks. So that's one answer as I write long. Could it be that she's a risk taker because she's by herself a lot, which makes her more independent. Maybe third graders, the risks that she takes don't seem very scary to her as they would to another character because she's a pretty independent character so far, right? She lives with just one of her parents, Preacher, because her mama has left, and she has already shared with us that Preacher is very busy with his job. So she's become a kid who works to solve her problems by herself. So sometimes those risks don't seem so scary to her as they might to another character. Maybe she takes these risks because she's lonely. And sometimes when you're lonely, you can feel like you've got nothing to lose. What I mean by you might feel like you've got nothing to lose is that if you have one parent and a dog and not a lot of friends, sometimes when you take risks, it doesn't seem as scary or risky because you don't feel like you have a ton to lose, right? Opal is really open to wanting to make friends and has a big heart, and so that kind of takes the fear out because those are all things that she doesn't already have. So she doesn't have the opportunity to lose them, she only has the opportunity to gain them. So that might be why she is such a risk taker. So friends, as you can see, your goal when you are answering the question of why and digging below the surface and adding to your iceberg is to maybe come up with 2, hopefully 3. Oh my goodness, what a bonus it would be if you got 4 different reasons for why Opal is the way she is. So your challenge today, as you've watched me come up with some reasons for why she might be a risk taker, your challenge is to use some sentence starters and maybe come up with some reasons for why Opal opens her heart to so many people in our story. And you'll use these same prompts that helped me write So Long and Strong. Why would she open her heart to everybody? Could it be that? Maybe. And bonus points for friends who can come up with an extra bonus reason, starting with the sentence also. Good luck, friends. Can't wait to see what you come up with.